Hi and welcome to my channel. So moving to work overseas is something that many of us aspire to do for obvious reasons. But unfortunately, there are some organizations and countries that are bent on making this process very unsmooth. Is that actually a word? For many people. And so in today's video, I'm going to talk about the latest update regarding one of such kind of challenges that people are currently facing. So when I'm talking about this, I'm thinking specifically about countries such as the US of A, such as the UK, such as Canada, New Zealand, Australia. These are countries that pay a lot of money, and so rightfully so, they have so many people that want to move to. But specifically healthcare professionals. So if you're new to my channel, you're obviously welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, as usual, I appreciate your time. And the reason why I share this information is that it should help you to make more informed decisions and choices about your relocation opportunities. And so if you haven't joined this family, by the way, take this opportunity now to hit the subscribe button below so that you're the first person to be notified every single day when I drop a new video on here. So one of such countries is Nigeria. If you're somebody who is keen on the news and keen on knowing what is going on in healthcare, like me, I'm very, very keen. You'll see that Nigerian nurses, midwives have been protesting over the last week because of changes that have been announced by the Nursing and Midwifery Council. And this is regarding nurses, midwives, colleagues that are willing to relocate. I remember that a year ago, doctors and dentists in Nigeria were also affected by this. And when you look at the conditions that people are working on back home, you see that it's obvious why people want to relocate. We have to be honest that no country is perfect. Even if you move to the UK or other countries, I mean, I work as a nurse in the UK. It's not without its own challenges, but the levels of challenges are kind of different. And we can all accept that if you're working in the UK, yes, you have challenges, but it's not as challenging as working back home when you look at the pay, staffing numbers, working conditions, and just literally everything. So that's what we're going to be talking about. What should you do if you're a colleague in any of these countries? That are other countries have implemented other rules that are similar to this, but what is really going on? But most importantly, what should you do if you're a colleague in any of these countries? How should you proceed? So if you're not aware, by the way, if you check the comment section below, I do have a free newsletter where I send information such as this directly to your amazing inbox, opportunities to move to the UK, free visa sponsorship opportunities, career progression pathways, because career progression in the UK is really what I'm passionate about. Yes, now you're in the UK. What next? How can you progress? How can you move from A to B? If you're a carer, for example, in domiciliary care, how do you move to the NHS? If you're in the NHS, how can you progress further, into other senior positions? How can you get onto those apprenticeships where you're paid to work and study at the same time? If you are a nurse, midwife, you're looking to progress into senior positions, how should you go about that? How do you become a specialist nurse practitioner, nurse manager, all of that. So when you join my newsletter, obviously, then I send that info to you. So you're not reliant on the YouTube algorithm for such vital information that is crucial for your personal and professional development. Also, you're going to find my contact details on there. So there's my WhatsApp number as well as my email address, so that if you need to get in contact with me, if you need that one-to-one support, that tailored guidance, then you can get in contact with me, because that's what really this is about. It's about, that personalized guidance, knowing what should you do next, what should you do now for your specific and personal circumstances. And so what is really happening? So the Nursing Council back in Nigeria has proposed and suggested that all the people that are graduating, so nurses, midwives, you will not be able to get your verification until you've worked for at least 2 years post qualification, which means that you've got to complete your nursing school or obviously midwifery. Once you've completed, you need to get your permanent license, because if you have a temporary license, you will not be able to get verified either. So you get your permanent license, and from the day you get your permanent license, you need to work for at least 2 complete years before you can even consider applying for verification. One thing that they also mentioned was that your license still has to be valid for at least the next 6 months before you actually apply for that verification process. But there's also something that they've said: the verification process will take at least 6 months for it to be completed, which by default means that you end up obviously having to renew the license. I mean, the process is going to be a lot longer. And if you are a professional, you know that you cannot work overseas if you don't have that verification. So this is something that is a massive thing. When I saw colleagues, that were out protesting, I was like, that's amazing, that's really good. Because I think sometimes, we need to really stand up for ourselves as professionals more than we tend to do. And so the protest was really a good, peaceful, calm, and professional way to say, look, we don't agree with this, but we want something to be done, we want something to be looked after. So the authorities, what have they said? What is really going on? By the way, if you're watching this and you're not aware, I'm a nurse myself. That's why I'm very passionate about this particular topic that I'm talking about. And that's why I've been very keen to see the process and the progress of this, because I started as a carer myself. I now work as an advanced nurse practitioner for the National Health Service here in England. So I have a private coaching program where I have hundreds of nurses who are, still back home. Some of them are already in the UK, and we are reliant on getting that verification process through successfully in order for these colleagues to be able to rightfully so practice in the UK. So this is something that has been of a lot of interest to me, to make sure that I know what's going on, because I need to know what the rules are, not only in the UK, but in all the countries where I've got people, obviously, that I'm supporting, because you need to know the rules in the UK as well as the rules, in the home country, to be able to know how to proceed with these processes. And that's why I have a lot of interest, especially a country like Nigeria, that obviously, as we know, it has, amazing professionals, very productive. I mean, it's you know what I mean yourself. So by the way, if you've got any questions as I'm going along, do leave any questions in the comment section below, so that I can join you there. Other people can also just chip in any ideas that they have, in order to see really what needs to come out of this, because as I say, it's a process of, it's caused a lot of stress, it's caused a lot of anxiety, it's caused a lot of anguish and a lot of disappointment with many professionals. And so that's what this is really about. And by the way, if you want to check more information about my private coaching program, you can check the description box below or the about section of this channel. You're also going to find in the description box below or the about section loads of resources that I've linked up for you about processes to become a nurse in the UK. Whether you're already in the UK or you're an overseas nurse, you're going to see the process. You just choose whichever one that you want. You're also going to see different pathways that you can progress into. The information is there readily available for you to access at your convenience. So you need to do that so that you can check out those free resources and begin to benefit from those opportunities that are there for you, rightfully so, to take. So with all these updates, and I think that I was very keen, to see what the authorities had to say. And, they have actually obviously acknowledged the distress that the nurses and midwives are having, and they have also said that they're going to look into this, and make sure that obviously nurses are treated very fairly, and they'll get back with more information. So I'm also keen to see what they get back with. So this is not implemented yet. I mean, these are proposals that they are wanting to implement, and I think that if colleagues continue to stand up for themselves, for our profession, for the freedom, I hope that this, such rules don't come into force, because it is not fair. And I think especially when you've paid your own tuition fees and you've studied to become a nurse or midwife or doctor or whatever job it is not fair for the government to then decide on how you're going to run your career, where you're going to work, and all that. Is not fair, because it's been your choice to study, but most importantly, you have paid your own fees, because all these courses are not free. I mean, people spend a lot of money to be able to study these courses. So it's not fair to then dictate to people what they should or shouldn't do. And I think this is something that is with nursing in any country. I mean, it's the same in the UK. If you pay and study, your own tuition fees, which are ridiculously high, I mean, nobody should say you're going to work here, you're going to work there. It is not fair. But again, I do hope that a solution is found. I do hope that these rules are not actually implemented at all. But most importantly, I'm hoping that colleagues are able to get the support that they need to be able to pursue their career in any country that they choose. Because very interesting that there are many people who are actually healthcare professionals and they're unemployed. And I think even the World Health Organization keeps saying, the whole thing about the red list countries. But when you look at many countries, back that are included in the red list, you'll find that there are thousands and thousands of unemployed nurses, or indeed many healthcare professionals that are working on a voluntary basis, yet they're saying that they don't, they need more healthcare stuff. I'm like, how come? If you have professionals that are qualified and they're unemployed, were still working on a voluntary basis for years, how then can you come and say that those people should not leave the country because the country needs them? I mean, how does the country need them? Because they're not being paid, they've got no jobs. I mean, it's just a ridiculous thing to do. And I really do hope that a more peaceful solution is found where everybody will be happy with the outcome, and that as nurses, healthcare workers, were not bullied, as is usually the case, into accepting things that are disadvantageous for us. So what do you think about this, by the way? Do leave your comments obviously in the comment section. These are just my thoughts, I mean my ideas. And so if you're in this position, by the way, what should you do? Personally, I think it's very difficult. It's very difficult. We can only hope that it doesn't go through. But if I was in this position and I didn't have that time, I don't know. I think that it is difficult because you need to see whether it's worth you moving overseas to maybe get into another career or start all over, or should you get your 2 years of experience back home before you begin your relocation journey, or should you relocate through other pathways? I think I would definitely pursue other pathways, to be honest, because it wouldn't take up to 2 years to get a job if you're looking for other pathways. But I don't know. That's what I would probably do. I would pursue other pathways, to be able to achieve my goals. But again, ultimately, we're hoping that these are not implemented, because that will be the best outcome, so that everybody's got a fair chance and a fair opportunity to be able to pursue their goals. So again, what do you think about this? I'll be keeping a very close eye on this and keeping you updated as to what is agreed, what is decided, everything that is said, because like I say, I've got hundreds of colleagues in my program that I am currently supporting, and I have to know what is going on with these changes, policies, rules, and it's very disheartening. So again, if you need to contact me, like I've said, check the comment section below. There are also pathways that the NMC in the UK has implemented, but it is for people that are refugees. If people are interested that I share this, I can share, but it's only really helpful for people that have refugee status, because everybody has a different story, a different journey. Again, it's about that personalization. So I don't know. We will just watch and see how this whole thing progresses, and then keep you updated with what is happening. So check out this other video that I've linked up here just to give you more information about opportunities in the UK. I'll see you here.